What is going on there, Reject Nation? We are going to watch today from the YouTube channel Cinematic Capture a Cad Bane deepfake, one that is more likening to Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and how we saw him in the Bad Batch. After Cad Bane's appearance, while there was a lot of excitement that Cad Bane is finally in live action, there was a bit of a discourse over his appearance, and some people were upset with the way he actually looked. It just ruined the whole show. It ruined everything. No one liked it anymore.
Ruined Boba Fett's story.
Ruined Boba Fett entirely. No, I want to check this out, man. Cad Bane is such an awesome character, and I like the way he looked. I would love to see what it would look like if he did look more animated for him.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I'd be careful where I was sticking my nose if I were you.
That's more the blue I
Is
imagined.
that friendly advice or a threat?
Wow.
Damn.
That's pretty crazy.
They tweak his head
Boba
shape a little bit,
Fett
too?
is a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire.
Face is slimmer.
You tell your spice runners Tatooine's closed for business. This planet's seen enough violence.
Oh, this is gonna be fun to talk about.
You should have never given up your armor.
Those gauntlets are
I'd be
bluer,
careful
too.
where I was sticking my nose if I were you.
Even redid the teeth.
Yeah. So yeah,
Is
his
that
mouth's way
friendly
lower.
advice or a threat?
Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire.
That actually looks pretty great. Damn, that looks great. Holy shit. That looks awesome.
You're hired for the next season.
Closed for business. This planet's seen enough violence.
You should have never given up your armor.
Wow. That was great.
Yeah, that was really well done. It was pretty
Impressive. When that came out, I was just excited to see Cad Bane, and I still like the way it looks. You know, we were watching you Rockstar's Easter egg breakdown. Eric Voss was saying how he really loved the appearance of him, like how he is a little bit more washed out, how like time has really caught up with him being in this desert landscape, and how it's like, what was the phrase he used? Something about how like dried him out.
Yeah, dried him out,
Like, metaphorically,
or it
yeah.
almost is like he's been sun bleached out in the desert for so long, you know, because it seems like from the places he's popped up in the Clone Wars and in Bad Batch, like he's in a lot of other locales that aren't quite so hot and desolate and bright all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what, you know, especially what Cinematic Capture did here, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that he is a lot more blue, and that's kind of what I expected when I was seeing Cad Bane starting to walk into frame. The eyes are not as wide. Also, the face is definitely a lot slimmer. I think he did some work on the teeth. I've heard some people compare it to like a little bit of buck teeth, like a horse teeth.
Aw,
Some
pointy
people
buck
were really
teeth.
like crapping on the design, and I thought it was great. I think also too the breathing tubes.
Yeah.
I think like more so in the animated form, sometimes they're actually coming backwards a little bit more, but here they fall down more.
Yeah.
And the actual
Like
live
drape
action
his
appearance.
shoulders.
Also, the nose is definitely a lot bigger as well in the actual version of the live action now versus what they did here, where it's more a little slim, especially because his face does fall slimmer too.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's what a lot of what they did here was probably remove, you know, when you're making up an actor, no matter how impressive, you're only able to build on top of and build up. So especially looking at the side by side, you could tell like, okay, that's where they had to conceal a nose. That's where they had to work with the shape of the actor's head to kind of convey the idea of narrowness and convey the alien quality while still working with what you got. Whereas, yeah, here it's like you're able to move the mouth way down low. You're able to kind of compress where his, you know, nose mound is.
Here's the thing I keep coming back to. Maybe because it's, you know, like when you think of things like Area 51, for example. Oh, that's out in the desert, and that's where they have aliens kept. these extraterrestrial beings who might look like a humanoid appearance, but they're not human.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt the live action Cad Bane evoked so much of when you see him. He feels like an extraterrestrial being.
Yeah, like-
which is what
like
he
a
is.
gray.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
He is that. You know, I mean, this is Star Wars. We're exploring the galaxies and stuff.
He is an alien,
He
in
is,
fact.
yeah, he is an alien. So that's why I think I personally just love the design of him. I still feel like it evokes those menacing, grim, you know, Western vibes that Cad Bane is supposed to evoke. Overall, the emotion that it's supposed to instill in an audience member, I still think is there. And of course, bringing back the original voice actor definitely helps. That was something I heard a lot of people complain about too, not fully matching up because of like minimal movement, because of prosthetics. But I'm like, guys, I thought it was great.
It sounds better than it would have sounded just using set. I assume that was a loop or a dub or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was actually pretty well achieved, given that, yeah, if you're looking at all the effects and that's what you're focusing on, you can tell that, yeah, this guy's got teeth put in and all that stuff. But I thought it played really well.
It reminded me of when some people were complaining about Ahsoka Tano live action when they first saw Rosario Dawson, or Lekus. If I'm not mistaken, when you first see her when she's young, the Lekus are short, and then by the time you see her in Rebels, are a lot longer. I don't remember what the justification was, but when she, you know, they don her in live action, the Lekus are nowhere near the length that you would imagine, especially coming off the last time you saw her in Rebels. You would imagine them to be longer. So yeah, it's like a comparison thing from animated to live action, and especially when you are doing a thing where you're plucking them out of an animated series, plucking them out of a cartoon. However, I feel like these choices are intentional for a reason, especially when Dave Filoni, the one who created these characters, bringing them to live action. He's the one doing it, and I think the choices, like they're gonna run this by him, and he's going to have a say in how it's all done. This version of Cad Bane feels like there's a little bit more of it feels a little more humanoid. Yeah. While some people thought it still looked cartoony, I feel like either way you're gonna wind up with it looking cartoony. All that being said, this looks awesome. That's the thing, is that is still pretty chilling and badass to bring to life. Of like, oh, so they could have done that. Well, yeah, they could have still done the one that looks exactly like out of the animation.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, is like this is fun to look at side by side to me, because it's not as much like the Luke Skywalker Mandalorian season 2, where it's like, oh, this could have looked better in a more, like, you know, human convincing type of way. This is like, yes, it could have looked a bit more accurate to the original model, but I thought the way that they realized it here, those things have to be intentional. The amount of artistry they put in. Part of the fun too of adapting any animation character is having slight changes when you bring it to real life, especially as a practical effect. So
all right, guys, well, what was your overall thoughts on it? Does it still work for you? Did you fall on the side where you thought it looked weird? Leave your thoughts down below. Either way, I thought this was a really wonderfully done, rendered, more closely accurate version of the animation. Subscribe, leave a like button. Hey, let's do it.
Everett Pixelmite Baker, Pixelmite, your moniker of choice, came to mind watching this video, because this was all about the might of pixels, the artistry that can be hewn and rendered within the digital space. And hey, I don't know if that's where you work or that's what you do for a living, but you bring us much light just by being here, just by showing your support, Everett Baker. And hey, I would be thrilled if you were to show up as a silhouette on the horizon to come and pull up some business with me. I would be like, oh damn, this guy means business and I am here to attend. You know, I wouldn't fire on you, I wouldn't draw. I would be like, let me listen to what this guy has to say, because he could probably kick my ass across Tatooine. Anyway, buddy, I hope you're doing well. Happy 2022, and we'll catch you next month.
Catch you next month.